All right, going to call a Policies and Priorities Committee meeting to order for Monday, February 12th, 2024. Take approval of the agenda. Councillor Norbury.
That all items in the February 12th, 2024 Policies and Priorities Committee meeting agenda be approved as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Dussault. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of minutes for January 8th, 2024 Policies and Priorities Committee meeting minutes. Recommendation. Councillor Noxana.
That the January 8th, 2024 Policies and Priorities Committee meeting minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Clickash. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Any business arising from the minutes? No. Council? Staff?
None, Your Worship.
Thank you. Okay, reports. 6.1 Draft Animal Responsibility Bylaw Amendment. Report dated February 12th, 2024 from the Director of Protective Services, Fire Chief regarding Draft Animal Responsibility Bylaw Amendment. Recommendation, Councillor Dussault.
That council receives this report for discussion.
Seconder, Councillor Norbury. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Dussault.
First off, thank you, Mayor. First off, I would like to say thank you very much for bringing this forward and seeing all the revisions that have been done in it. I just have a couple of questions on a couple of things. Under Section 2, is it Section 2? No. Sorry, under dangerous animals, which is, I lost it here. Here we go, Section 7, high-risk dogs and dangerous dogs on page 15. When I was reading through this, I understand that there is a warning given out, a written warning. My other question would be, how many written warnings are given out in total, and at what time would the dog be possessed if it was deemed too dangerous to keep on the premises?
Ms. Torval.
Thank you, Council. I will direct this question to Chief Curry. And for the purpose of this discussion tonight, if it's okay with Council, you can direct your questions to him regarding this matter.
Good.
Thank you.
That's your decision.
Thank you.
Council's.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So to Councillor Dussault's questions. So let's talk about high-risk dogs, dangerous dogs. So we have a threshold now. We have a tiered structure in the bylaw that allows for essentially dogs that have shown a propensity to either bite, harass, at large, be further than a nuisance, which is further defined in the bylaw, that we're long past the warning stages at that point. Once you get to that point, you've already gotten your warnings as part of the regular compliance process. Once you get to the designation of a high risk or a dangerous dog, there is no warning. You're going straight to fines as a means to ensure compliance. To the second part of your question, Councillor, just so the municipality does not have the authority under this bylaw or any other one to forcibly enter into somebody's property and seize an animal off of their property. What we can do is engage with the BCSBCA in terms of how that animal is being cared for. We can engage their special constable in order to try and find some type of a remediation. But as long as they are following the guidance of this bylaw when that animal is off property, we cannot seize the animal if it's not in contravention, and we cannot destroy the animal for such reasons as well.
Follow-up, Councillor Dussault?
No, that answers my question. Thank you.
Council? Councillor Julik?
I just wanted to say thanks very much. I thought this was a pretty intensive look at things, and I thought it hit all the high points that we were concerned about, or at least I was concerned about. I shouldn't say we. I don't have a mouse in my pocket. So anyways, I thought it was good. I appreciate all the hard work that went into it, and I'm looking forward to supporting it at a regular council meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Clickash?
Yes, Chief. I just got a question about trapping cats.
Yep.
I'm up a lot during the night and through the day, and the only time I see cats running through my yard is at either after 11 and before 6. So I don't know if you can change that, but you're not going to catch any cats in the daytime. They go out at night because they actually chase the birds, and they're roosting birds, and they go up and try and get the roosting birds. Then on their way back, they take a crap in my house and carry on.
Yeah, I definitely won't disagree with you. I'm fully intent on 100% with you on that. The section the new section in the bylaw that has to do with trapping of cats is just what best practice. And in my report, I alerted that there's only one other municipality that we were able to find in the province that had any regulation when it came to the trapping of cats within their municipality. So this is absolutely the time for debate and to have that conversation if that's council's wish, that you want to see that changed. The intention behind this regulation is to make sure or ensure that the trapping of cats is done as humanely as possible, right? The welfare of the animal has to be paramount. Without that, we get into some legal gray areas when it comes to the SPCA's Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, as not to cause distress. And if we are the municipality and we're saying, yes, you can do this, then we are permitting somebody to put an animal in distress, we could also be held liable. So I definitely agree with you, and I welcome any conversation that council wishes to have around the time of day.
Follow-up, Councillor Clickash?
Yeah, I'd like to see that changed. I think it's a responsibility of the person that's doing the trapping to make sure that the animal is okay. So I don't know what the rest of council feels, but I'd like to see that time changed.
Okay. Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Kakaka. I think, removing that change would be a good idea. I mean, we know cats are nocturnal animals, or they can be, so it makes sense to still allow for the trapping of the cats. Like in previous to that section of the bylaw, there are some stipulations that outline the temperatures. I think as long as those conditions are met, like they're not going to freeze overnight, or the chances are that the temperature won't be too hot. So as long as they follow those guidelines, I think it's appropriate. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Are we looking for motions at this point in time?
Nope. Nope. We will be, though. Councillor Knox-Center?
Thank you. I am okay taking out the time frame. It doesn't matter what time of day or night, as long as you're willing to maintain those standards, like Councillor Norbury said, that you're checking every hour, because we don't want animals to be in distress. It's not their fault, they're at large. We are trying to change people's mindset about keeping animals and keeping them safe, ultimately. So if we took out the 11 to 7, 11 to 6, but absolutely kept in the heat guidelines, cold guidelines, and checking the traps really frequently, I can't see that being an issue.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Julik?
I'd just throw my support behind that as long as we're comfortable that we're not going to be going over some BCS-PCA guidelines. I'm good to go with that too.
Thanks. Yes, my question before you put the motion on the floor, Councillor Clickash, would be how is it enforced when it says checked hourly if they have to be locked at a certain time? I mean, it's no different after 6 p.m. at night, and it has to be closed at 11 p.m. There's no way of us being able to police that.
Correct.
From staff side.
Yeah, we're not going on to people's properties and checking at 11 o'clock at night to see if the trap has been rendered inoperable or anything like that. We're relying on the understanding that X person has completed the form, which is in the schedule, to say that they will abide by these things. And if they don't, by having it in our bylaw, there'll be a corresponding MTI. So if we do get a complaint from an individual to say that it was past 11, then we could go and we could do some targeted enforcement, or we could say that, no, that's in contravention. The hourly, keeping it checked hourly, I think, or if we go to every 2 hours or something like that, by having some type of a threshold there, requiring the individual who's doing the trapping to check on that trap, so that they don't set it at midnight or even, 6 o'clock at night and then wait till 6 o'clock the next morning without checking it. And we have 12 hours. In previous conversations with the SPCA, 2 hours seemed to be about the max.
Perfect, thank you, that was kind of what I'm looking for. Councilor Clickass, did you want to make a motion there? To remove that time of the 11 PM to 6 AM?
That we remove the 11 PM to 6 AM from the trapping of the cats in the bylaw under section 10.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana, discussion? And that's clear enough for staff? Councillor Hoffman?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm fine with the removing of the time limits, but what I don't see, and I'm sure it's in a different section, is what the consequences are. I think we need to be pretty specific with people if we're going to let them trap cats, that it's very clear that these are the rules and that these are the consequences if we're not following those rules. But no, I don't have an issue with removing the time restraints, just that I'm worried about those that have a bit of malice towards the cats doing things in their yard that they're unhappy with, that they take it out on the cats.
I think we're both on the same page with that, Councillor Hoffman. The corresponding port ticket bylaw is going to be the municipal ticket information amendment. I didn't want to put all of the stuff to council in terms of that. We typically have a very regimented threshold when it comes to fines for what we're looking at. The more severe the infraction, the more significant the financial implications are to it. So you'll see that when we do take the bylaw forward for first readings, you're going to have MTI amendments, and you're also going to have a fees and charges bylaw amendment.
Does that cross the line to criminal, though? If somebody does say leave the cat in the trap for 3 hours and there's a neighbor that's keeping track of that and calls it in,
Absolutely, it could, but it's not to us at the municipal level to enforce the criminal aspect of it.
Okay.
That comes to peace officers and/or the BCSPCA with their procedure. They're actually the only people that are able to enforce the Prevention of Cruelty Towards Animals Act.
Yes, good point, fair enough. I just am worried about this becoming an escalation. I could see this being divisive, that there are going to be cat owners that are going to be worried about the cats, and there's going to be people that are glad they can finally do something about it, and I just hoping to avoid escalation. I don't have anything specific to give you as a response to that, and you sounds like you're already on that wavelength, so that's it. I'm good with the motion.
Fortunately, we do have some individuals that are currently trapping cats, and they're doing the responsible thing. They're bringing them to bylaw regardless of this regulation being in place. This just firms it up to say that if we have the malice or the intent, ill intent towards an animal, that from the municipal level, we'll have the ability to enact enforcement.
Thank you. Any more discussion in regards to the motion to remove the time of 11 PM to 6 AM? Okay, call the question, all in favor? Motion carries. Okay, any more discussion in regards to the animal responsibility bylaw amendment? Okay, I have a couple things, and this, mine would be, I guess, to council first. I don't think it's staff's thoughts are here. It would be on page 17, and it's bullet 34, that the district shall supply an owner of a dangerous dog with one warning sign at the district's cost, with the understanding that the sign must be returned to the district once removed accordance from that. To me, I don't know if we should be giving the sign. I think the sign should be charged for. You have a dangerous dog. Obviously, there's a reason why your dog has become dangerous or was already dangerous. To me, we should not be supplying the sign. I think that should be at the cost of the pet owner. Not sure what council thinks, but I don't think we should be supplying it. I think that if the pet owner has a dangerous animal that has been calculated with all the other infractions becomes under that header, then to me, they should be accountable for the signage. Councillor Noxana and Councillor Julik.
Well, I don't disagree that the animal owners should be accountable for the sign. I think that there's merit in having a uniform sign up. Not a piece of paper that they slap up because it needs to be up, but something that's visible and identifiable by everyone that this is a district identified animal that is at risk. whether we charge for that sign, like I'm assuming we already have these signs. So whether we charge a rental fee or like a sign out fee or something. But I like the idea of the sign being uniform, so the public can tell easily.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the sign would be from the district. It just, to me, there's a cost to it. Why should the non-pet owners pay for signage for pet owners? I guess that's the sign would still be supplied by made by the district and supplied, so it is uniform. Councillor Julik?
I guess I read this as basically because the owner's going to be told, okay, you have a dangerous dog, we'll give you a sign because we want it up right now. You go get some more signs and you bring my sign back, is how I read that. It wasn't so much they got to keep it. Here's the sign. Now go to town tomorrow and get some new signs. And so my thought would be what could be added to this is that we could have them there for purchase, whether like for me, or you need to do that within 3 days, or we'll just charge you for it.
I'm going to stop on that. I read that we were supplying a sign, and then they can have it returned under paragraph 35A or C, which is right below it, upon the death of the dangerous animal or the relocation of the dangerous dog.
Well, yeah.
We don't give the sign back, but the first sign is at the cost of the municipality, taxpayer. And if they lose that sign or they need another one, then there's a cost for the next sign. That's how I read it. I guess.
Okay, no,
Chief
I'm
Craig?
not, I didn't move on to 35.
So this is one of the clauses that required some more clarity for sake. In the previous bylaw, it did state that the district would supply a dangerous dog owner with one sign, but it also spoke elsewhere in the document that you have to have a dangerous dog sign at every entrance to your property, thereby requiring the owner of a dangerous dog to put up additional signs. And we were getting people that would just go to the local stores or anything like that and buying the Beware of Dog sign, which we want more. We want that the information that's contained on our sign has a district logo, as Councillor Julik said. They're identified by the municipality as a dangerous dog, and it has the warning signs. They're red, they're specific color to that. I don't disagree with anything council's saying. I'm quite happy to go either way. We do have the signs currently. We've had them for a number of years. Fortunately, we have yet to have a significant population of dangerous dogs within the community. So we haven't had to deplete our supply of dangerous dog signs. So they are a few years old, but I'm happy to go with whichever way. Fortunately, out of these discussions, if we want to go charge for these signs, we are going to be making an amendment to the fees and charges bylaw, that would fall in nicely with, so.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Councillor Norbury and then Councillor Hoffman.
Since we're talking about signs, what type of signs are we talking about? Are they just like sheets of paper that are laminated? Because I mean, realistically, if it's just a laminated sheet of paper, I'm fine. I'm just eating that charge of, $2. But I mean, if we have to send out for them to be made, if they are, I don't think we should be losing a ton of money. But yeah, that'll be my question. Yeah.
To Councillor Norbury's comment, so the signs are, I'm going to say they're probably about 6 inches by 10 inches in size, and they're metal signs so that they can actually be weatherproof, because the intention is that they will be outside, they'll be posted up against somebody's fence or an entrance to the home or anything like that. So that there is a cost to them. I don't recall what the cost was. I don't believe it was severely onerous or anything. We used a local company to facilitate those signs, but there is a cost.
Councillor Norbury, follow up.
Thank you, Mayor Kukalka. In that case, I think we should absolutely be at a cost recovery for this. Either it's built into the fine for having a dangerous dog, or somewhat. But yeah, I don't think the rest of the community should have to pay for someone's dangerous dog. So I'd be happy with cost recovery. Thanks.
And I think the intention with that was to be the license for a dangerous dog currently sits at $500. So there's quite a large jump from your standard everyday dog at between $5 and $10 to a dangerous dog that has a $500 license fee on an annual basis that's towards it. So at that time, that was the intention, was to be with that. I completely support council in either way you want to go.
Thank you. Councillor Hoffman?
Thank you, Mayor. There's also a process that people can appeal these decisions, and I wouldn't want them to go out and print 4 or 5 signs before they have a chance to go through that process. So us having them on hand and distributing them. And also what I just heard, I think it's much easier to put it in as a single charge, however we're doing it, dangerous dog license fee, than start nickel and diming on this. If the sign's $50 and we're going to raise if we're going to charge for it, I would rather see it in the license fee than yet another individual charge. And we're going through this process of going through all of this. Let's just one spot where they pay for that, and that's it. I don't want to see us starting to nickel and dime. We say, okay, you need another sign now, or whatever we decide to tell them that they need. If we have enough in the dangerous dog license fee that we put 4 signs in, or plan for up to 4 signs, I think that's just a whole lot easier than individual charges myself. So I would rather leave it and not have a specific charge in for them.
Councillor Julik and then Councillor Noxana.
I think the $500 license fee is probably more of a deterrent than an actual need for the $500, right? With the $500 license fee, I would say that I'm comfortable with giving them one sign that I'm going to say probably runs $20 to $50 currently. Beyond that, I'm not in favor of that. When I hear $500 license fee, I'm okay with the one sign, but I'm not okay with all of them. I think about my property just in my front yard, because I have 3 gates and a door, that's 4 signs. And so realistically, you know, there's going to be other people in the community that could possibly have a dangerous dog with 4 or 5 entrances. So if you do that at anywhere from $30 to $50, that's $250. All of a sudden, it's not a big deterrent. Well, I'll pay the $250 license fee because I get 5 signs, and that's going to cost me $250 too. So I'm okay with one, as printed here. I'm okay with charging them for everyone as well. So, yeah, that's where I sit with it.
Thank you. Councillor Noxana?
Thank you. Whether we go with the sign included in the registration fee or it being an additional cost, I am not in favor of selling the signs. I think that they need to be returned to the district at some point. This is a sign that is warning people that this is a dangerous animal on the premises. It's not a game, it's not funny, you don't give them out as Christmas gifts. This is something that we want to make sure remains for this sole purpose. So if it's rented, then they have to bring it back when it's done, or they have to pay a deposit and then they get the deposit back when it's done. And if that's all part of the same fee, fine. But I really want to make sure that we, as the district, still own these signs. They're just loaned or rented to individuals that need them.
Guess Chief Curry, I just got clarity when it says how they can purchase additional signs should be really responsible for the owner with the language that must be approved by the district prior to installation. So they can go elsewhere after the first sign is issued.
That's correct. That's
And
the
as long as it meets your criteria, the district's criteria,
Yes,
before installation, you can either approve it or deny it, depends on what it says.
that's correct. And really, it would just be the same language as what's on our signs. We don't want anything less than that. If they want to change them and make it, you know, a landscape view over time, a portrait view or anything like that, you know, we'd be amenable to that, whatever works. But, yes.
Councillor Hoffman?
Thank you, Mayor. It just occurred to me, do we have any currently designated dangerous dogs in town?
Yes, yes. I
And how
believe
many do we
there's
have?
2.
Okay. And is that typical, that in a given year or whatever time period you want, that there's a couple of dangerous dogs around, or?
Yeah, and I think we usually float between 0 and 2 in any given year. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, council, any more discussion? Councillor Clickash?
Chief, I'd just like to know how you're going to collect the money from these people. Is it going to be collected?
I'm glad you asked, Councillor Clickash. So I did highlight this in our report, but we did see that after-hours collection of monies and everything like that being a hurdle. So since that time, we've engaged with our finance department and we've looked at getting a point-of-sale system that we can use remotely, similar to that which the RV park used. They're starting to use it now down. I believe the Lions are using a version of it. We're going to have the same thing. So we're going to be able to take card for license fees, for impoundment fees, for anything like that outside of regular business hours. Quite often, and our bylaw officer rather would be working a late shift. And we have a dog in the pound or something like that, and we want to collect fees. We want to ensure that those are licensed. And that's the intention with that, is that we will be able to enforce the requirement to license an animal prior to it actually leaving the pound. So we'll be able to take those monies. We don't have to rely on the honor system for those individuals to come back the next business day.
Again, would there be a different tag for dangerous dog or a nuisance dog? Is different color or something like that, so that people know when they see this dog out running around that it's a dangerous animal and not to go near it?
You bring up a very interesting point, Councillor Klikash. Currently, we buy our tags in bulk at the beginning of the year through UBCM, and we don't have an option on the color or the shape or anything like that. That's just decided by UBCM, and it's province-wide for everybody that wants to participate in their program. That's not to say that we couldn't invest in or look at other opportunities for color coding. Typically, we just have a registry that'll be for nuisance animals now, as that change will happen. So we'll have nuisance dogs and cats, and then we'll have high-risk dogs and and dangerous dogs that are in a registry, so that when it comes time for them to re-up their license, they're being charged the appropriate amount. That's
Right.
that. But an interesting point.
Well, if there's only 2 of them a year, well, you only need 4 tags or something on hand.
The only thing with that, we could get 4 tags that would probably cost a little bit more than just the typical 25 cents it cost us per tag now. Because they're numbered and they have the date of the year, we have to buy different tags every single year. Or we buy, I'm thinking just kind of spitballing, we could have a different color that would be associated along with the tag that you buy. So just almost like a little blue marker chip or something like that would go on your animal to designate that. I'm not sure, we can look that up. I'm not sure how much of a public presence that would be, just to have a color coding on that. I'm not sure if the person that would just move to town would even know what that meant unless they were, here and read through the bylaw.
Right.
Good comments, Councillor Klikash. Councillor Jilic?
Yeah, and I would think that I absolutely know where you're coming from. I also, if it's a dangerous dog, you're not going to know that tag is meaning he's a dangerous dog till he's maybe bit you already. If he stayed still long enough for you to catch him. Because I hear you, like it'd have to be something that was bright red. I would hope that somebody who has a $500 license fee would make sure that dog stayed at home. That would be my hope. But yeah, because I don't know what that would look like either. Like, if you have a solution, I'm all for it. I don't think a tag's going to do it.
Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Kukalka. Anytime a dangerous dog is outside the property, it needs to be muzzled. That's a pretty identifiable indicator for me. If I see a dog that's muzzled, stay away. Because my thought was, something easily recognizable, and I think, I don't want to put anything in Councillor Klikash's his mouth, but if you're out in the community, some quick way to identify it. But if they have to have a muzzle, and the dangerous dog sign has to be visible on the property, I think those 2 are enough, in my opinion. Yeah.
Councillor Klikash?
Yeah, we had a dangerous dog just down the street from our place. It wasn't muzzled, and it was supposed to be locked up in the backyard, but somehow it went out and bit somebody. And they didn't have a chance. It just went after him and bit him. So, like muzzles don't really tell you whether that dog is a good dog or a dangerous dog. So I don't know what we can do. But an identification of the dog would be relevant at this point, I think.
Councillor Hoffman?
Thank you, Mayor. Could we, I don't know if posting is appropriate, but some way of informing public of where dangerous dogs are and which dogs are dangerous? There's only going to be a couple, 2 or 3 at a time. I'm more worried about the privacy side if we're allowed to do something like that. But with it being dangerous and a hazard is included in the licensing, that you're agreeing to that or something like that? Because that's just it. I didn't even know that. I live quite near Councillor Klikash, and I didn't know that there was a dangerous dog down the street unless it was something that was a longer time ago. And it could be a danger to other dogs as well, that if you're out walking your dog on a leash without a muzzle, that a dog like that can approach. And so far, I haven't had any issues. In fact, the dogs that tend to get out are quite friendly, but they're still out, and who's to know?
Chief Curry?
I too would be concerned with the privacy aspect to that. I don't know if, I know that under our current application process for that, we don't disclose. In fact, we say that we're collecting all this information in accordance with the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. I would have to look to Ms. Torval for any aspects when it comes to the privacy component to that, but I highly doubt that by posting, even if it by paper or anything like that, would have a dissimilar effect than signage visible from the street to say that there was a dangerous dog there. If the dog is out, the fact that you know that it lived at XYZ on Murray Drive, I don't know if that's going to help you to know that that's there, and if not from the signage where the dog actually lives.
Ms. Torval?
Thank you, Council. We can definitely research this and have the answer for the next, when we bring it back for the readings.
Appreciate that. Follow-up, Councillor Hoffman?
Yeah, and I appreciate the position, Chief. Like, I get there's no perfect solution here of that we're not going to shave dogs down and tag them and like, okay, this one's dangerous, but I mean, as a dog owner, you walk the streets, you see the dogs out of fences, you get an idea. And I think to give the residents a chance to go, okay, I am worried about this. I saw that we did something about this. Where are the dangerous dogs, or which dogs are dangerous? Even being able to see a visual and have an idea, okay, the two dogs in town that are dangerous is a Shar-Pei and a Staffordshire Terrier. Like, then just something might put the mind at ease for the other hundreds of dogs that aren't. So that's where I was coming from, that just to give people the opportunity, if they wish to be more aware. And I take your point with the signage, but if you're telling me it's 6 by 10, like, are you really going to notice from the street that that's a dangerous dog sign? I don't know how obvious they are or not, especially if you're not looking for it. And that's all I'm coming from. I don't want to fall afoul of any privacy laws or anything over this, but if we can give people the opportunity to know where they are and know which are before they get out, before they're out there without a muzzle, or a red triangular tag along with, or however we're doing it, it just gives more people an opportunity, to my mind. So that's where I was coming from.
Councilor Norbury? Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Kakalka. So after hearing Councillor Klickash's comments about dogs getting out without their owner's knowledge, I think, yeah, that sort of makes me realize, like, I think it would be appropriate to get some sort of tag or investigate some sort of tag system. If we only have to buy 5, 10 every couple of years, just get some red tags or, red circle thing. And it's just something different out of the normal might get people to think, why does that dog have that thing on there, right? Red, simple. Red means stop. I don't know. It's just something simple, right? Something that's easily, okay. Because, like, Councillor Hoffman, I can appreciate your comments. There's a dangerous dog in this area. Well, what if the dog gets out and he's down 3 streets, right? Like, I would be a little concerned about the stigmatization about bad dogs and owners having bad dogs, because it's not the owner's thing sometimes. There's a lot of just bad history and the owner taking the dog. And anyways, I'm getting off topic. But something quickly identifiable, I think if we're only going to have a couple of it, I think it's appropriate. I think it's a good idea.
Staff want a motion? Ms. Torval?
No, a motion won't be necessary. We'll just take direction as is.
Thank you for that. One thing I'd say in regards to that, and I don't disagree with Councillor Klikash in regards to some kind of different tagging system. To me, if we're looking at a color-coded tag or whatever, it just needs to be larger than our normal tags. I'm sorry, half the time you can't find the local dog tag on the dog until you reach through its hair to find the tag, or if it has a tag. So to me, it has to be large enough that it can be displayed. You see it, especially if the animal was to get out or something like that. I mean, I'm just wondering too, is if maybe even just an email, if council so wishes, I'd like to see these signs. If we can just get an email picture of the signs that we use for dangerous dogs, just so, because I'm not prepared to make a motion yet, but when I see that sign, I may. I've never seen it, but I mean, that'll be up for debate there if, in regards to cost recovery. And, they can return it after, obviously, in paragraph 35A to C on what happens with the animal, the sign's returned to the district. But what happens when it's not? That's another cost that, again, we have to pay and buy another one. I mean, if they decide to get multiple signs, whether they buy them purchase from the district, or if they go elsewhere and have them made and approved by the district before installation, again, those they would keep anyway. So what happens when all of our signs start leaving, because people move away or whatever, and they take them with us, when we have to order more anyways, and it's another cost, so. I'd just like to see it before I make that motion. Councillor Julik?
If when you take a picture of the sign, if you could put like a pop bottle next to it or something, just so I could get a feel for dimensions, that would be wonderful.
Can we just have signs brought to town hall? Council can come in if that's okay, Mr. Orville. If it can maybe just be put left in the chambers, council can just come in and look at them. Maybe save some time from staff side. So, okay, that's what council will do.
If you'd like, I can put them on the TV for you. Oh. If it would help council, I can do that right now.
You can do that now, or like I said, we just bring a sample and leave it in the chambers, it's fine.
Yep, I can do either or.
Yeah, I think that's, and people can see it and actually see the size, if that's fine with staff. Okay, any more discussion, comments, or that in regards to the animal responsibility bylaw amendment? Okay, going to move on to the Lions Club of Tumbler Ridge letter of support. Report dated February 12th, 2024 from the interim CEO and Director of Corporate Services regarding Lions Club of Tumbler Ridge letter of support. Recommendation, Councillor Noxana.
That the District of Tumbler Ridge supports.
Oh, hang on a second. I was wondering.
I sit on the board of the Lions, so I will recuse myself.
Yep, thank you. Councillor Noxana?
That the District of Tumbler Ridge supports the Lions Club applications for funding by providing a letter of support.
Seconder, Councillor Norbury. Discussion, Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Kakalka. I support the Lions for going out trying to fundraise to make, changes and improvements. Just a point of clarification, we'll obviously see proposed changes before any changes are made.
Ms. Torval?
Yes. Yes, council.
Any more discussion? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Motion carries. Somebody can just grab Councillor Dussault. Okay, moving on to EO9 Policies and Project Committee meeting terms of reference. This item being brought forward for council's review. Open it up for discussion. Comments, concerns, Councillor Julik.
I am loving this less formal structure here, and I just think it helps get people connected. So I appreciate that because it, right in the purpose, is the Policies and Priorities Committee provides a less formal structure than a council meeting. And so I appreciate this here. And the only other thing I would mention is that this looks like something we were needing to do at the beginning of our term, and we didn't. So it's good that we're looking at it today. I thought everything else looked really good, and I'm glad that while it takes a little bit more time to set up, that we're able to do it. So thanks to staff for making that happen.
So I guess staff can maybe make some comments. I know we had to wait for some stuff. I know this was discussed a while ago, but I believe stuff had to be ordered to make this happen. Mr. Orville?
Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, I thought I had your mic on.
Sorry. Yes, that is correct.
First, yeah. So, I mean, this was a discuss, and I mean, I'll be honest, when council first, the previous council made motions and set some budgets, plus there was a grant that was received from Coastal GasLink in regards to revamping the chamber. We had to wait for everything to be installed and check it out, and then I think, this is something that we've always looked at for a forum for the PMPs, and it was to have that more, we're not looking down on staff and stuff like that. But even when we have delegations, we can rely on staff's a little bit of input compared to a regular meeting when we come to make those decisions. So, I know it took a little longer than everybody was hoping for, but I think, that's what happens by the time we order stuff, whether it's back order or whatever, and then by the time they get to play with it to make sure it works. Because I know I talked to Chief Curry, I believe it was in December. At some point, Chief Curry had reached out to me and just talked to me and asked if it was all right if he was to try to set this up this way. And, I talked to Ms. Torval at the time, and that's why we were able to try it and make sure it worked. So, but the camera view is different, so I can't wait to see that tonight. And hopefully it's not too shiny, but I'm just assuming we'll have to have a look. And that's the only bad thing with the camera, the way the camera view works for our regular meetings and stuff like that. Obviously, the angles are a bit different, but yeah, I agree with you, but it just takes a bit of time.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns in regards to the EO9 policies and priors committee meeting terms of reference? Okay. I've asked staff to put on the agenda, just so people can put their names forward or at least think about it and get it back to Ms. Torval. But the North Central Local Government Association Convention, just to determine how many from council are attending NCLGA'S annual general meeting and convention held in Smithers from May 13th to May 16th. And it's hosted by the communities of the town of Smithers, district of Houston, and the regional district of Buckley and Nutchaco. So please advise Ms. Torval if you're going. If people know tonight, please raise your hand. So I know Councillor Julick, Councillor Dussault, Councillor Noxana, and Councillor Nobury for sure. For the rest of the three of us here, if you could please just advise. Do you have a date that you'd like to know by? I just know hotels are going to be very, very busy. I would think, I know staff had already reached out and booked some hotels, but if some of us aren't going, it's nice that they can cancel some of those rooms and open it up for other communities that maybe not didn't get their bookings in. So, Ms. Torval?
Thank you, Council. So the agenda isn't ready yet, and I haven't received notification of when deadlines or early bird deadlines are available, but as soon as we find out, then we'll confirm with council, those who are attending or wish to attend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like I said, I'll be waiting until the agenda comes out to make sure that there's something there that I want to partake in, so I'm not wasting dollars. Okay, so if anybody else, Councillor Click-Gash, I know Councillor Hoffman, you've already spoke, but if something, when the agenda comes out, change your mind, if you want to go, just please advise Ms. Torval, so we don't cancel rooms that we need. Okay, the other one is the FCM, to determine how many councillors are attending. Oh, sorry, Councillor Julick.
So good, because it's going to be the same question for the FCM. So if we decide that once the agenda comes out, we're like, I'm a no, that's not a big deal either, right? It's just a matter of canceling? Or
Correct.
should I tell you that it's a maybe no before you pay the registration fee? What does that look like?
Yeah, so before the registration happens, so just keep watching. I think Ms. Torval can send us out an email, but once you see the agenda, if you don't want to go, just before they book us.
Yeah,
into the conference.
Yeah, and that's basically, I just want to make sure that I have that opportunity to back out because I'm with Mayor Kakauka. If there's something there that doesn't really pique my interest, there's no sense on the expense. So, yeah, because I'll probably say yes for the FCM as well with it being so close.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and then I apologize for missing you. It's a little different. Can barely see you guys, I'm short. FCM, to determine how many from council are attending the FCM annual conference being held in Calgary, June 6th to June 9th. So we are out looking a long ways, but again, if people are thinking of going, if you can please advise so that we can, if there's more council than our policy states, or, there could be a reason to bring the policy forward to waive the policy, because Calgary is so much closer than Quebec, Toronto, Halifax, all those places where, to me, it's quite costly to go down compared to me. Calgary is very close. Most people drive, or however you want to get there. The conference could be a lot cheaper if we send more than 2 councillors and the mayor. So, does anybody advise if they're want to go this year? Anybody know at this time? Okay, Councillor Julick. Okay. Councillor Noxana. Okay. Councillor Dussault. Okay. The other ones there, if you just let me know. You don't have to let staff know. If you can just let me know. Because at this point there's 3, so I'd probably bring the policy forward. But if somebody decides that they want to go to Calgary, again, we've booked some rooms. I think staff will make sure, or need to make sure, that we've circled some extra rooms there. I believe when I was asked about the FCM for Calgary, I said to book a few extra rooms due to maybe possibly bringing the policy forward for council to debate that and either approve it or deny the extra request. Okay. Any more questions in regards to the FCM? Okay, take adjournment. Councillor Nobury.
That the February 12th, 2024 Policies and Priorities Committee meeting be adjourned.
Seconder, Councillor Dussault, all in favor? Carried. I'm going to take a 5-minute recess and then we'll call